Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to explore a fascinating and honestly kind of unexpected connection. We're going to bridge the gap between the massive macro level corruption we see in the professional world, the huge corporate scandals and systemic failures we hear about all the time, and the micro level harmony we can actually cultivate inside ourselves. We're completely flipping the script on how we handle ethics today, because instead of looking outward for some quick band aid fix, we're going to see how our deeply personal inner workings actually dictate global professional realities. I mean, just think about the headlines we see every single day. Today's professional world is absolutely plagued by scandals and exploitation. It feels like every time you open a news app, there's another massive corporation being caught in a lie. And our usual reaction? We try to fix it by piling on more rules and regulations, right? But what if the cure isn't actually more laws? What if the real solution, the only one that actually creates lasting change, requires us to take a journey inward? To understand the cure, we really have to understand the disease first. So let's jump into section 1, the crisis in profession, and take a hard look at this deeply ingrained worldview of exploitation. Okay, let's dive right into this. We are literally seeing an epidemic of unethical behavior rapidly spreading across all sectors. Just look at these 5 major practices ravaging industries today. First off, corruption. It's happening in multiple forms at almost every level of business and government. Next up, massive tax evasion and the blatant misuse of public funds, which just drains resources from the people who need them the most. Third is misleading propaganda. Those unethical ads that use psychological tricks to push harmful or useless products. Then we've got the adulteration of goods and spurious production. That one literally endangers public health just to shave a few cents off manufacturing costs. And of course, hoarding and overcharging to exploit vulnerable people during times of need. It's a lot, right? The collective impact of all this is just eroding trust and causing immense damage. Now, you might be wondering, wait, don't we have methods to curb this stuff, like strict compliance laws, government watchdogs, financial audits? And yes, we absolutely do. We spend billions trying to enforce them, but they are largely failing. And the reason why is kind of wild. It's because human ingenuity is just incredibly powerful. Right now, all that massive intellect is being actively harnessed to devise newer, subtler ways to bypass ethical conduct. People are literally using their brilliance to twist the laws, find hidden loopholes, and beat the system. When the underlying mindset is corrupt, external rules just become a fun, complex puzzle for a smart person to solve. So, what does this all mean? It brings us to a really pivotal question. How in the world do we actually solve an epidemic of unethical behavior when the laws are so easily twisted? If external rules and the threat of punishment aren't enough to make people act ethically, where exactly do we turn? Well, the answer requires us to look deeply at our underlying worldview because our actions always stem from our beliefs. The current paradigm we live in inherently generates massive contradictions. It treats wealth maximization as the ultimate goal, which creates this totally toxic your loss is my gain mentality. Think about it. If there's a scarcity because of a natural disaster, a business person operating with this materialistic worldview actually feels elated. They see an opportunity to maximize profit through hoarding. Their business interests are in direct conflict with basic human welfare. To actually fix this, we have to shift to a holistic paradigm. This is a worldview based on right understanding and mutual fulfillment, where we recognize that we're naturally complementary to one another, not just competitors in some zero-sum game. So how do we make that massive shift away from such a toxic paradigm? Well, to fix the external professional world, we've got to start with the self. We have to pivot inward. Let's move to section 2, finding our true innateness, and explore this foundational concept called svatva. Let's define our terms here. Svatva translates directly to the innateness of the self. It basically represents our natural acceptance of harmony. And the absolute most crucial thing to understand here is that this svatva, it's already there. It's totally intact within each and every one of us, right at this exact moment. We don't have to build it from scratch. We inherently want harmony and peace. We just sort of lose sight of it under thick layers of societal pressure, external conditioning, and false assumptions. But we can actually reconnect with it. It's an active process of self-exploration. When you take any proposal about what is valuable or ethical, and you actively verify it against your own natural acceptance, you're engaging in a direct dialogue with your svatva. And this internal dialogue is incredibly powerful. It systematically strips away preconceived notions, moral dilemmas, and those intense external compulsions. Ultimately, this leads us straight to true realization and right understanding, so we aren't just blindly following whatever corporate culture dictates. Once we recognize our innateness through that self-exploration, we enter the next vital phase. We shift from simply identifying our harmony to actively organizing our whole lives around it. Let's jump into Section 3, Achieving Inner Harmony, and the transition to Svatantrata. This highly organized inner state is what we call Svatantrata. It essentially means being completely self-organized, or being entirely in harmony with yourself. And when you achieve Svatantrata, something profound happens. You are no longer a slave to external conditioning. You aren't driven by fleeting sensations or this desperate, endless pursuit of wealth maximization. Instead, your decisions, your desires, and your everyday actions are decided by you, firmly anchored in your own right understanding. You become truly independent. It's really like a cascade effect within the self. When true realization and understanding occur at the highest level, they naturally flow downward. All that previous external conditioning, it gets entirely bypassed. Your new, clarified understanding directly sets your desires. Those desires then seamlessly dictate your thoughts, which ultimately guide your expectations and your choices in the real world. Everything aligns perfectly from the top down, and it's this continuous, unbroken state of internal self-organization that guarantees both happiness and unshakable ethical clarity. Now we reach the final, beautiful stage of this journey, because when you create that kind of profound inner order, it doesn't just stay locked inside you. It inevitably, naturally, spills over into the outer world. Let's head into Section 4, Creating a Harmonious Society, and our extension to Swarajya. This outward extension is called Swarajya. It's all about self-expression and self-extension into the world around you. Simply put, it means living in harmony with others. Once we are fundamentally self-organized, once we actually have Swatantra, our internal harmony naturally extends to how we participate with our colleagues, our clients, and our surroundings. This is exactly where true professional ethics is born. It's not some rigid rule forced on us by a compliance department. It's the natural outward expression of someone participating effectively and compassionately in society. Let's trace how this builds seamlessly from the micro right up to the macro. Step 1, we identify our Svatfutva, our natural acceptance of harmony, by deliberately exploring ourselves. Step 2, through that dialogue, we attain Svatantrata, actively organizing our desires and thoughts around that truth. And step 3, that inner harmony naturally expresses itself as Swarajya, where we act ethically and responsibly in our professions. The true beauty of this progression is that it happens organically. It happens entirely by itself, without any external force, coercion, or threat of an audit. So the crucial point here, and this quote really hits the nail on the head, is that the effort towards ensuring orderliness in the society is possible and is sustained by ensuring orderliness in ourselves. Every single mechanism we invent to curb corruption, every new piece of legislation, ultimately relies on this fundamental truth. We literally cannot enforce macro-level professional ethics if we don't first foster micro-level personal harmony. The outer world is always, always a reflection of the inner self. It's a huge realization, isn't it? The definitive cure to corporate greed, rampant corruption, and systemic failure isn't out there waiting to be discovered in some boardroom or a new software update. It starts right here, inside us. So I'm going to leave you with this provocative thought to chew on. Are you actively organizing your inner self to help cure the outer world? Because true professional ethics isn't a policy document you sign. It is the Swarajya that naturally flows from knowing who you truly are. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I hope it sparks a completely new way of looking at your work and yourself.